A maximum security facility in the US, worse than what went on in Wandsworth. We have to check this out.
Sex, drugs, and contraband. Newly released videotapes expose the dysfunction inside the Green Hill School in Chehalis.
The state of Washington is paying out big money to settle claims that staff at the Green Hill School have been having sex with the young inmates there.
Tonight, the King 5 investigators expose a long history of sex abuse at the maximum security facility.
I wasn't even planning to bring the brand new Chegg content yet, but I had to when I saw this video. So you all remember I was in prison at the time, but what happened with that officer in Wandsworth?
A prison officer in the UK has been arrested after this video, and we're only going to give you 10 seconds because after that they smashing asses in here.
You've got to love those American reactions. I was in prison at the time, but you guys will remember when the officer in Wandsworth got sent down for the video that appeared that was recorded inside Wandsworth, where you're about to see it but 10 times harder than anything that's happened in the UK right now. And this is in a youth offenders institute.
Nude photos of a former Green Hill employee found in an inmate's cell in February. A tort claim filed last month that says an inmate videotaped sex with his Green Hill counselor. And an alleged sex triangle with 2 employees and a young man serving a murder sentence.
You literally can't make this up. This video is a banger. Hit that like and hit the subscribe early on this one because it's going to be worth it.
Green Hill is the state's overcrowded detention facility for young violent offenders, males ages 17 to 25.
In the UK, we call them young offenders institutes, but in America, they're called youth correction facilities, and it's for young offenders that are aged 18 to 25. This is a maximum security jail, by the way, which they only have one of in the state of Washington.
Hello, Joyce. Yeah, this afternoon we got these pages full of reported crimes this year. New stats from inside the Green Hill School. Nearly 200 crimes reported this year, and surprisingly, almost 24 of those cases involve employees here. Law enforcement is wondering if anything the governor proposed today will fix that disturbing culture.
Yeah, don't get it twisted tonight, guys. We're not talking about just one incident. We're talking about multiple. We're talking about video recordings of the situations as well. You cannot make this up.
The Green Hill School in Chehalis houses males up to the age of 25 convicted of violent crimes. Crimes inside Green Hill School have reached an all-time high. The Chehalis police say administrators reported 194 crimes so far this year, on pace to triple prior years. Some of those crimes are allegedly committed not by inmates, but by staff. At least 3 employees are charged in high-profile cases of custodial misconduct, having sex with Green Hill residents.
King 5's Chris Ingalls has obtained tapes from inside the facility's walls, proof of security officers having sex with inmates while leaving their posts empty and unsecured. A warning for you, this story does contain some graphic content.
A young couple in a private locked room recording an intimate moment. In this day and age, it may not be that uncommon.
I've never been in love like this.
What's extraordinary about this tape? Where it's happening and who these people are. They're locked away in a linen closet at Washington's maximum security juvenile detention center.
Like, I am making fun of this officer that's being shown right now as well, but like, she can't secure anything. Never mind, like, it looks like she was there for one particular thing. But as we get into this video, as it unravels, you won't believe the shenanigans.
22-year-old Robbery Thompson is an inmate. Emily Baker is the Green Hill security officer on duty for the night shift. Equally jolting is a sex tape behind bars.
Like, I can't show too much saucy material on this channel because it's being YouTube, but you can see right at the end, a leg's going up in the air. Like, oh my God.
Records obtained by King 5 show at 4:55 in the morning, during strict lockdown hours, another security officer unlocked Thompson's cell under the pretense that Baker needed the inmate to tidy up the linen closet.
So you've got to remember the name Robert Thompson, because he's going to come up a fair few times in this video react.
As King 5 reported in 2022, Thompson is serving 40 years for the murders of Puyallup shopkeeper Soonja Nam and Thompson's accomplice, who he feared would turn him into police. Despite that violent history, records show Thompson spent 18 minutes locked away in the linen closet, alone with Baker.
So this guy, Robert Thompson, is serving a 40-year sentence for a double murder. We got to remember that he is the victim in this situation, and he's probably going to get a huge payout. We'll get to the payouts later on in the video, but this guy is the victim in this situation.
A knock at the door.
A knock at the door. If you was up to no good in prison with a prison officer and somebody knocked on the door, yeah, you better be moving quick.
That's followed a minute later by a phone call.
Everybody in there is going to talk. No matter how much you think people keep secrets, they don't.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
In all honesty, Emily, it makes me feel very uncomfortable.
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to do that.
It was probably the guy that unlocked the cell that was knocking on the door when he realised what mistake he'd made and what was actually going on in that closet.
Charging documents filed last week say Baker is suspected of sexual misconduct with Thompson, including security video showing them alone in a Green Hill supply closet for 18 suspicious minutes. She's pleaded not guilty.
18 suspicious minutes. Did you see them legs going in the air earlier on? Wow.
The secret rendezvous seems like something that would be nearly impossible to pull off in a high-security facility with cameras everywhere. But we've learned it's happened more than once.
Yeah, as I said, guys, this is not the first time that something has happened in this particular youth correction facility. We're about to expose everything that's gone on in that jail. And wait till you hear the rest.
Oh my God.
This is another sex tape. That's security officer Michelle Goodman last year, 3 months before Baker's tape. She's having sex with a 23-year-old inmate, unidentified in court records, in the employee locker room at Green Hill.
At least she's better looking than the last one.
Goodman was fired last year for inappropriate non-sexual contact with inmates. The sex tape later came to light in a civil suit filed by the 23-year-old inmate.
So we've got two officers in the frame so far, but let's continue.
Thank you, everyone. You can be seated.
Last month, Goodman faced a charge of custodial sexual misconduct.
Or misconduct, excuse me, in the first degree.
I'm guilty.
And admitted to the sex tape crime. Baker also pleaded guilty to her crimes and was sentenced earlier this month to 7 years in prison. In addition to their sex crimes, both women admitted to smuggling contraband into Green Hill, like cell phones and marijuana.
I'm not trying to say that Baker is ugly, but if he was in jail on a 40-year sentence, you might consider it.
The emphasis at juvenile facilities is rehabilitation. Taxpayers fund job training and education and programs that should provide rigorous therapy in hopes that young people come out better than they went in. State records show the cost of housing an inmate at Green Hill is $625 per day. That's 3.5 times more than it takes to house adults at Walla Walla, also maximum security.
So in the UK, it costs the UK government around £150 per day for an adult male inside an adult prison. But when it comes to young offenders institutes, we're talking about £279 a day. Bearing in mind, that equals to the taxpayer in adult males £51,000 for a year, or £101,946 for a young offender. Absolutely crazy. That's taxpayers' money.
And DCYF also says it's proposing things like changes to the staffing model so counselors don't have to work as security officers. They can focus more on inmates' mental health. But you can see there's a lot of things going on there and it needs a lot of work.
I'm absolutely gassed to see the look on these reporters' faces, because even I am shocked. Never mind the reporters that are reporting on this investigation.
It's so shocking just to see the things that you have found that have been recorded. Okay, you've reported on a large number of lawsuits that Green Hill has already settled. What's the latest on that?
Well, the state actually settled the biggest one yet in April, $12 million to the family of a young inmate who overdosed on fentanyl, which has also been a problem inside that lockup. And there's more than $18 million in settlements at Green Hill since 2020. And that's another way the taxpayers are stuck with the cost if this institution loses its way. It gets very expensive for all of us.
Some people wondering the video, like, why is there video? Everybody asking the same question we were.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, thank you.
This is Emily Noreen Baker, 241498-21.
Emily Baker, who watches over juvenile offenders, now finds herself on the wrong side of the law.
With count 1, tampering with a witness, and count 2, abuse of office.
Baker works at the Green Hill School. It's her job to rehabilitate young male offenders like 22-year-old Robert Thompson.
You got to bear in mind that Baker is not securing anybody. Like, how is that officer being able to control violent situations? I had to, like, you tell me in the comments.
Are you Angel Marie Meisner?
Yes.
A week earlier, Baker's co-worker, Angel Meisner, entered a plea to a charge that she had sex with Thompson.
And to those charges, what are your pleas today? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Court documents say Meisner and Baker know of each other's relationship with Thompson.
All right, so remember earlier on I mentioned about Robbery Thompson. I told you to keep his name in mind, because it's about to come up many times in this video. Not only with 2 officers, but also with a drugs conspiracy, which is coming later in the video.
Founded in the 1890s, the Green Hill School stands today as the state's only maximum security facility for males up to the age of 25. But only now are we learning of the long secret history of abuses by some staff on young inmates. Documents from King 5's public records requests show settlements over the last few years of $4.4 million paid to 24 former inmates by the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, which runs Green Hill.
That is an absolutely crazy amount. This is just one jail in America. Bearing in mind it's youth offenders, but still, it's just one jail in the US causing this much scandal.
I never imagined having a home when I was 18.
He was sentenced to Green Hill in 1990 for assault. His counselor took an interest in him.
What was the first thing that made you say to yourself, this woman likes me?
Essentially, she started allowing me extra privileges. I was getting out of my room and being able to have more freedom than the other kids in the unit. As time went on, it turned into a sexual encounter.
So these guys now are claiming victim and earning big monies. This guy put a deposit down on a house when he got out of prison due to the assaults that he faced in this facility.
The state did not admit wrongdoing, but it paid $325,000 3 years ago to settle Hawkins' sexual assault claim, money he used for a down payment on his first home.
I never thought I'd be in this position.
Attorney Patrick Brown of the law firm PCVA represented Hawkins and many others.
Some of these victims don't know what their harms are. They don't have the necessary ability to figure out how this has affected them.
All right, so this is going back to some of the historic abuses, what happened in this facility. Like, this is what happens when you've got inexperienced staff, overcrowding, and an overstretched prison system that we're also seeing in the UK. How many officers this year in the UK have we seen in the news that have been charged with corruption and also with intimate relationships with prisoners? We're seeing the same thing in the UK, but as always with the US, it's much more exaggerated, but it's still real life.
I have a case right now where a staff ended up marrying one of the Green Hill School residents who she had a sexual relationship with.
The The State Patrol marched that employee, Erin Stiebritz Snodgrass, out of Green Hill in handcuffs in 2016. Brown's current lawsuit claims she also had sex with another underage Green Hill inmate.
These lads are proper sticking it on thick for the prosecutors, though, in these victim cases where they've been victimized by prison officers. It's crazy.
In addition to the growing number of legal cases against Green Hill, we uncovered other reports of sexual misconduct.
I had a sexual relationship with a female staff member there.
Juwan is 25 years old and served 3 terms at Green Hill School.
She had met me in the locker room, and that's where everything was taking place. What man and doing time in prison, though, doesn't want to have sex, you know?
That guy's at least said it right there, though, where if you're serving a long sentence and you get the chance to interact with an officer, regardless of what they can do for you, if they're going to give you something xually, then you're probably most likely going to take it.
Juwan says the relationship with the female security officer soured and she started mistreating him. When he reported it to administrators, he says they punished him.
Pending their investigation, they decided to send me back to prison.
The female security officer worked at Green Hill for less than 6 months, but DCYF will not say why she left in 2022.
You see what I mean about inexperienced officers? This officer had been at that jail for only 6 months.
Is that a common story that somebody could be sent from Green Hill to prison if they file a complaint?
It is. It's not uncommon for staff to be given the option to just resign. So that way there is no investigation that'll happen.
When it comes to sex abuse of young people, Green Hill has a history of looking the other way, then and now.
So researching this prison, I have found out that a lot of what I'm reporting on right now, like these are the ones that I've made the public, but there's been a lot more that's been going on that has been unreported, covered up, swept underneath the rug. Probably because they've got so many cases ongoing as it is. But this is historic, going back to 1978. My research shows that officers have been corrupted in this particular facility.
The person responded that the agency has zero tolerance for sexual assault and that Green Hill residents have multiple methods to report sexual abuse, which should trigger reports to police and to protective services. However, the agency will not talk about any of the specific employees we've mentioned, citing pending investigations in most cases.
We have exactly the same situation in the UK going on right now. When you employ 19 or 20-year-old females that have no life experience and put them in high security jails around men that have been in for 30 or 40 years, you're going to be easily manipulated because these people know how to play the system.
This woman, walking in the distance, has a special delivery. The hooded woman steps up to the gate, rings the intercom, and announces she has a DoorDash delivery. You're watching never-before-seen video of one of the more brazen crimes at the Green Hill School.
All right, now we're getting into a different type of officer corruption, and this one is mad.
Once inside, the woman hands a food bag to security. Later, a hooded Green Hill employee appears at the security checkpoint, takes the bag, and walks away. 2 weeks later, it happens again. The same woman on foot says she has a DoorDash delivery. But this time, at a second locked entryway, an alert security officer in a control room just off camera is suspicious.
This is an officer at the jail who's been already dismissed, who is now coming into the jail smuggling drugs.
That's when she recognized the woman in a black hat and hood, as she told police in this recorded interview.
I confronted her. I did say Angel, and she looked at me in shock and she said no, and just looked at me, made this weird front face, and again said no.
This time, when security took the food bag, they opened it to find this: 2 burritos filled not only with meat and cheese, but a potent form of marijuana called wax. The drug-filled burritos were for a young offender, and it wasn't DoorDash making the delivery. The hooded woman was a former Green Hill employee who was fired last year. John Braun, the top Republican in the state Senate, says the burrito case highlights the failures at Green Hill.
It just stuns me that somehow we're allowing this to continue.
Consider that this is Meisner's second Green Hill-related conviction in a matter of months. She was among a spate of female employees, at least 6 that we know of, investigated and fired in the past year for improper relationships with Green Hill inmates. Records show some smuggled in contraband like cell phones, shared intimate photos, enabled fights and misconduct, and even videotaped their sex acts with inmates.
And you all remember Robbery Thompson from earlier on in the video, the guy that had 2 intimate relationships with officers. Who do you think that this package was being delivered to? This guy.
We obtained these Green Hill surveillance photos of Meisner kissing Robbery Thompson, a 22-year-old serving 40 years for 2 murders. Chehalis police records show she kept him supplied with sex while she worked at Green Hill and drugged burritos after she was fired.
It's almost sad to hear this recording of a phone call which is going on right now between Thompson and the prison officer because of the manipulation what's going on between Thompson, really. This girl's obviously in love with the prisoner, but this is what happens when you put inexperienced officers on landings with experienced prisoners.
Hello, this is a free call from an incarcerated individual at Washington Corrections Center.
Can't wait to be able to hug you without being scared that I'm going to get caught. I love you.
Recordings captured inmate Thompson's phone conversations with Meisner after she was fired.
I really do think that we can help each other to be better people.
These calls reveal Thompson is having sex with another Green Hill staffer who police identify as Emily Baker. Meisner forgives him because...
And paid attention to me and not just sex or what you can get out of me. The fact that I'm actually valued as a human being.
You literally can't make this up. And the gullibility of this officer here, who is forgiving the prisoner for having an intimate relationship with another officer. It's sad.
Do you understand the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Emily Baker has pleaded not guilty to a long list of charges involving sex, contraband, and an alleged plot to plant drugs in vape and dab pens on a co-worker suspicious of her relationship with Thompson.
Look at the long list of charges that this officer got. Wow.
The city in which Green Hill is located investigated a record 21 custodial misconduct cases involving employees last year. Detectives say Meisner, Baker, and Michelle Goodman sealed their fate with sex tapes that are now in police hands. These are some of the suggestive or nude photos that at least 3 more employees sent to inmates.
At least 3 more officers sent to inmates. Like, they are not included in this video, but like... I've lost for words. This is in one facility. Wow.
And police investigated other staffers like Nicholas Judson, accused of picking up burrito deliveries and handing them over to Robbery Thompson. Judson has pleaded not guilty to smuggling contraband.
Thank you for watching the new rebranded Scotch Egg channel video. I wasn't even supposed to bring you this one, but I found this story and I had to. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.
You got to scratch your head and say, why does this keep happening? How do we allow this type of behavior to continue to happen in this facility?